It's the Trusty Ape. May the 4th be with you. Still, May 4th, Star Wars Day. Let's see if they have any free Star Wars on Tubi tonight. Actually, probably should have done that earlier. Hopefully, they'll still have it up. It's unlikely, though. Unlikely. I haven't watched the Star Wars in a long time. It's been a while. Well, May the 4th be with you, and happy Cinco de Mayo in advance. We might be here when the clock turns. I got a few notes on my little sticky pad. So if the sound's not too shy, could invite some people. Somebody. Just getting a little warm up going. Probably play some more guitar in a few. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling it. See how sleepy I get. So I guess we'll start this off with a little PSA about the business, the industry that I am in. That is, and that is to say, all right. So there are certain items. Most items, when we find them, go to the lost and found. Try very, very hard to make sure you get those items back, or at least we'll hold them for you. There are certain prohibited items, or you might say just items that we do not hold. Right. So if you leave, well, first of all, obviously, guns, knives, billy clubs, we find that stuff on you, we're going to confiscate it from you, and you're not going to get it back, right? That's the gun would probably go to the proper authorities, be turned in, but those other items, we're going to confiscate them and dispose of them, discard of them, and the same goes for contraband, drugs, alcohol, non-prescription drugs. I think we'll hold on to prescription drugs, but not any non-prescription drugs or over-the-counter shit. We're not gonna hold on to your food. What's up, Melvin? Good to see you. We don't hold on to like drink containers or eating utensils. None of that stuff. It's gone. You leave it there, it's gone. And as I said, that pertains to alcohol and tobacco products too. So, and enemas. And enemas, yes. It's not a prohibited item, but technically it's something that we're not going to do. Hold on to for you. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So, or you'll have to find another 6-pack and an enema. Whoever left that shit on my bench. Oh, that's on you, my friend. That's on you. Okay. Other than that, man, I'm feeling a little more upbeat tonight. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, hey, it's like waves. The depression comes and it goes, and then we're like, why are we depressed? I don't know. So part of it is about like just speaking change, right? And so I noticed that shift from what I had in my notes last night and what I said on here, right? The whole thing about how I handle situations, and yeah, I can come off like an asshole, and sometimes it's my job to be an asshole, but not most of the time, right? But there are different ways to handle situations, and as I sat there and I thought about that today, I actually handled some situations differently, so even if the cashier was being a jerk, be like, yeah, I'm sorry that he treated you that way. He's probably just having a really rough time himself. He probably had a really bad day. Let's empathize with the cashier, right? He's doing the best that he can. You can do that. You can do that. You don't always have to. And I don't want to be the guy ever rolling my coworkers under the bus, for any reason, even if it's something benign like this. But it helps to talk it out and realize the changes that you need to make in your behavior so that you can be a more decent individual, more decent human being. You know what I mean? And sometimes maybe that starts in the way you handle situations on the job, and then you can take that skill and take it back and reapply it in your own life where you need to, in the IRLs. Like being at work isn't real life, but oh my gosh, I'm so out of marijuana. I'm so out of marijuana. I hope I have something to scrape out of my pipe. I feel like I already did this. I feel like I'm in a loop. Still a little bit of resin in the bottom of the bowl. Yeah, I kind of like people, even people that I have conflicts with. Sometimes, especially people that I have conflicts with. Like, as long as I'm not the one having a conflict with them, sometimes I kind of get a kick out of them, And I realize why they do the things they do, and even though it's technically kind of my job to undermine them sometimes, I kind of appreciate. I appreciate the snark on some people. I like a smartass. I am a smartass, and I like smartasses. I like people who do things to make a point. Sometimes that's the only reason you need. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Good to see you. Oh gosh, this monkey. Well, okay. I don't know how good the lighting's going to be. Kind of see. We got a little bit of a trim on the mustache and the sides, and cleaned up a little bit, but still a work in progress. Still on the fence about what to do with my hair. So I've been advised to keep the mustache. Not sure about this little ditty. It's kind of a pain to maintain, and it always does the same thing. Like gets out here and then it starts. Yeah, it's super curly. My freaking facial hair is like pubes, and then and then fucking so yeah, I'm like, well, I was gonna just keep the length and get a trim, but I really can't afford to see a barber, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just shave my head. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the look this year, right? And then I thought, I can get away with it. I wear a hat on the job. I could get a mohawk again. I haven't had a mohawk in a while, so maybe that's a possibility. Or maybe I'll just keep procrastinating and I won't cut it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So that story relates to somebody I saw today. Can't say I met them rightly. And she's a young woman. I want to say young woman. She looked younger than me. Not too young, but young enough that, kind of when I saw her seeming to be a little bit frazzled and lost, I was kind of concerned. I tried to approach her a couple times to see if I could help her out. I got the very clear picture that she was definitely avoiding me. And she looked pretty well kept, so I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I was like, that's kind of different, and I'll keep an eye on her. And so as the end of the night approached, and she finally went to get on the bus with another unhomed older lady that I know from around here, that was when I realized that she was probably more recently unhomed, from what I would gather, and just very timid, very, very shy, very awkward, and obviously afraid to talk to a security guard, and then, one of the other employees, didn't treat her so well. And, so I think it was maybe shocking for her that at the end I did, swoop in to help her out, albeit, it probably would have resolved itself without me, but I was tried to make it very apparent that I was there to try to help and not to get at her in any way. But I also like got this really, I don't know, it was a really strange kind of feeling I got from this very shy person who, she was attractive. She was attractive. I would be like, oh, that's a very attractive woman. And I think that was probably the last thought on her mind. If anything, it'd be like, rapey or something. But obviously, well, hopefully people know that, that, well, it's pretty uncommon for people in uniform. How should I word that? People in public service to do that. I should say it's probably more common for some people in uniform than we'd like to imagine. But that's really not the first thing. I don't know. My mind wandered on that one. I was just kind of thrown off by how shy and timid she was for being, an attractive young white woman. I'm like, oh well, no privilege there. But people take things differently. They have a different ways of, and you don't really tend to think about that. Like when I'm afraid to approach somebody and just to try to say hi or get to know them or something, I never really think of other people as just being shy too. I always think of other people as like, oh well, they just don't want to speak to me. And it's not like realizing that other people have the same reservations that you do sometimes, and that somebody has to break that ice or not, I guess. And every time I get this feeling, I think of the song Love Will Tear Us Apart. Like it's been popping into my head pretty frequently lately. I find myself singing it to myself while I'm walking around or humming, Oh yeah. I kind of like people. Kind of like people. I do, in spite of myself. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, that it just made me reevaluate the whole situation, because I was a bit suspicious of her, honestly, with what she was doing. I mean, I didn't want to be, but her activity made me like wonder, what the heck's she doing, and it was just a weird scenario. And it's like, okay, turns out she was just trying to figure out how to navigate it too, and she was a bit scared and confused, and probably needs some love. Speaking of which, I remembered I remembered that I have a Facebook dating profile, and I'm in like several groups on there for dating, for singles groups and stuff, which I never fucking go. I've been spending a lot less time on social media, but I rarely have been on the dating sites. But I, I realized when I changed my status from straight to bi, and this is about the time I stopped checking, I got flooded with fucking dudes. Like, and I don't mean to be like, I don't even remember if I've spoken on this before on here, but when I came out like as queer, that was kind of the intention to like get, hey, maybe that person, maybe this person. But when I tell you the gay dudes on Facebook are super aggressive, I mean it. Like there are a bunch of super aggressive gay guys on Facebook hounding my dating profile, or there were. I haven't to the point where I stopped checking it. I was like, whoa, like, okay, this is a little bit much. So, and yeah, still not a lot of activity from the other sexes or genders, as it were. So, and then I was like, oh shit, that's another possibility, because I've seen a lot of uh, traffic of that sort that seem like women coming to check me out, like, but in like a covert kind of way. And I know I've expressed it, like, hey, I'm codependent, I'm lonely, I want a partner. And I feel like there are women like coming to check me out at work, but they want to be, on the DL about it. And it's like, okay. And so when I notice that I, come over and I notice them back, and that they, tend to kind of smile and wander off. But I get that may be something that's going on. Like maybe somebody tried to play matchmaker or something, or somehow it got leaked into that sphere. Um, it's all very interesting when you put yourself out there on the internet, on social media, and on YouTube. And it's like, now you guys all know way too much about me. way too much about me, but maybe that's a good thing, you know? It's like a man of mystery. No, an open book with absolutely no fucking secrets. That's fine. You know, I'll work with that. But it does thin the herd a little bit, right? Because as people hear different things about you, about your history, about what you might be into, your kinks and fetishes, yeah, some people, a lot of, you know, straight cis people, they're going to be like, I don't know about that guy. I don't know about him, you know. Them, they, them, us, we, the ape man. Plus, I mean, if we go out on a first date and it goes badly, he might go and talk about it on his YouTube channel or something. No, I wouldn't do that to somebody. I mean, I'd probably tell you about the date, but I'm not going to. Like, why would people be that self-conscious if they're not being doxxed? If you're not telling anything about the person, you say like, "Hey, I went out on this date and it didn't go so well." Well, yeah, that sucks for the person who's listening to it. It's like that freaking call-in show with that Dr. Drew guy, right? Didn't he used to do that? Or one of those guys used to do like, tell us your horrible first dates. I don't know if they still do that. Might be no. I don't remember. I used to listen to that up in Sacramento all the time. And then they had another show where they'd have the person who got ghosted who would, and then the radio station would call the person who ghosted them and then like try to, you know, sneakily trick them into talking to the person again and explaining why they ghosted them. I thought that one was always pretty brutal too. But, you know, like, I've been ghosted a couple of times, and I'm like, what? Why? What the fuck? You know, I wanted to call in one of those shows, but I didn't, you know. There was this one lady up in Sacramento I went on. I wouldn't even say we didn't go on a date. We met up a couple of times, and as soon as we started to kind of get intimate, I don't remember what happened, but we gotten intimate, started to get intimate. She had, you know, kicked me out. You know, she was like, "No, we can't do this. You got to go because if it goes any further, you know, whatever." And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had a couple more conversations after that, and this person just ghosted me, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I've never ever gotten an explanation for that. And you know, I tried even like various, you know, different social media, so from like Facebook to Instagram or something, you know, kind of. I wasn't stalking her, but I was like, "Hey, what's the deal?" And just never got any answer, you know. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird, man. So I guess, you know, all right. I'll put this out into the universe. If anybody wants to participate in whatever this shit show is. Otherwise, I'll keep reading my notes. So for all my talk, you know, I've had people checking in on me, like, yeah, you know, and sometimes, you know, I look at various modes or methods, way a person might, you know, end life. But in reality, you know, a lot of the time when I see the train pass, it makes me happy. It's not, you know, it's not every time that, you know, I think about being on the tracks, although I do imagine it sometimes as liberating. But, you know, most of the time I appreciate the consistency of the train. Um, I can time it. Like when I hear the little, you know, the dinger things and the tracks start to rumble and then the arms come down to block the traffic, and I know exactly when that train's going to come around the corner, and it's just very, very satisfying. I know something about it is extremely satisfying. It's like something about being by the tracks makes me happy. Something about my job makes me happy, and you know, I try to focus on that part of it, you know, not all the frustration, but like realizing, acknowledge that these things do, I do find enjoyment in these things, right? I was trying not to focus on those other things that are saddening and distracting and all of that, right? Because usually when you're spaced out, you're distracted, that you start having the weird thoughts that kind of invade. It's like if I just stay focused on those things that make me happy about being at work, those things that, because in reality, I've got a pretty cush job. I've got a pretty enjoyable job. And I've got, people that have my back at work and I have theirs. And we all seem to have a mutual understanding. And, any other place I go in my life, those understandings might fall apart. But it seems like for some reason, in the realm of us all working together and, for the most part, being happy with our jobs and not wanting to lose them. Yeah, I mean, it seems to work out and it's mutually beneficial. And I feel like it could make friends at work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that out of the realm of possibility. I feel like I have, um, as I say, not everybody's going to be your bestie and, whatever. But as far as having a good work fam, I think I'm there. Um, it's just a hard break in, because I need my reality check too. So, and so, on that note, what I have now is an opportunity. And while I'm looking ahead to the future, I'm still trying to work day by day to make sure that I can sustain what I've got and grow it, grow from here and not try to fast forward into the future, right? Because that's where you end up having all these collisions and crazy shit that goes on because you weren't really thinking ahead before you didn't look before you leaped or something. I don't know, So don't take for granted what opportunities you have now. This is what I'm telling myself, but to anybody else too. Like, see this as a stepping stone, as an opportunity, and then work from where you are into growth, right? Don't expect that changing some major change in your curriculum right now, right, is going to actually provide you the 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 change that you need for the future. Oh, it is me. Hello, cat. I was trying to articulate something here, but I feel like I do have an opportunity, and I feel like I've actually gotten like a lot of support at work. So it would be a grave error for me not to recognize that and say that no, like everybody there has had my back. Everybody there has been super supportive and understanding, and and it's all about me working on me, and I can, sustain this thing for as long as I need to until I'm ready to grow. And that's where I'm at now. Is not trying to jump out of this thing to find a new thing because for some reason I get this feeling like I shouldn't be here because I get that everywhere all the time. It's like, no, I'm forcing myself to keep doing these things, and there's a reason behind it. Yes, coming derailed. No, I'm almost to the end of my notepad. Yeah, so I do feel like in some ways it's uh, for the audience here, but also for any of my coworkers, my boss. Like, to be fair to them, they're pretty fucking cool people, and they've given me a lot of, use the word grace or whatever, what have you, and a lot of them are people I'd like to have a beer with. So, and I do have an opportunity here, probably more so. I don't know about more so than at my last full-time position, but definitely more so than I've had in quite a while. Um, as far as room for growth, room for advancement, and people I can actually talk to. And I don't have to be all shy and reserved about this shit. Be like, hey, what do I have to do to move up the ladder here? Or what do you think's a good direction for me to take from here? And I can ask people that, and everybody's going to have their own opinions. But at the end of the day, I feel like those people are there to try to help me grow, rather than to try to keep me down or keep me in my place. And so I appreciate those people. And most of my coworkers are not assholes. A couple of them probably are, but that's all right too. We're all allowed to be assholes sometimes. So, moving on, I've had this ongoing shoulder pain for a while now, and it seems to be pretty consistent. And so I feel like this is something I need to talk to my doctor about at this point, because I've had this like off and on for since I was like a teenager. I'm fairly certain I injured my shoulder when I was like 11. I want to say I was 10 or 11 years old. I fell out of a big ass tree, bit through my tongue, and I fell on my shoulder. And my friend was convinced I had dislocated it, so he tried to relocate it for me. And I'm not so sure that was, I don't even know if it was dislocated to begin with, but whatever he did to try to fix it, probably seems to have made it worse. And I think I've still got some residual effects from that going on. And it's like I've seen chiropractors and osteopaths and stuff and had my back adjusted for different things. It's like this is just an ongoing thing with my shoulder. So I do feel like I should probably get it x-rayed, like to find out if there's something they can find in there. I don't know how that works though. It probably wouldn't even be an x-ray because it'd be like tissue damage, I would think. But yeah, I don't really know too much about how that works, but I know I need to be careful with my shoulder and do the rotations and stuff. So I came up with this list of rules for life. Rules for life. I don't know, just shit I was thinking that I should, things you can try to say to yourself to make things make more sense, And some of it's like really basic shit. You've heard it all before, Haste makes waste, so do not squander. Push your limits, but do not exceed them. And slow down doubly when you're triggered. And just a few things I put down on there to try and navigate these, make these a little bit easier. It's like, oh yeah, these rules, these maxims, right? And axioms, and I don't know. Still got to get back to axioms, but these are the rules of life. It's what you probably ought to do most of the time if you're not sure what to do. Or something. All right. So that is everything on my list, I guess. Plus some ramblings. And just in time. Dun, 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 dun. Here cat comes to save the day.
I'm not dead, fuckers. Not so sushi. What the fuck is that? It sounds like some sort of cheap gay fusion restaurant. Hello, it's Kat, yes. I'm legally obligated to do Gilbert Gottfried at least once a week.
Yeah. Gilbert Gottfried is necessary.
Yeah. Look, you just happen to be the person that got the brunt of it. That's my apologies. I'm legally obligated. It doesn't matter if it's in the real world or on stream. I have to do it at least once a week.
Have you thought about doing like cameos in the style of like you do something like that? Like
I do a pretty good Gilbert Gottfried. I will give myself that. Like if I actually like put my full heart and soul into it, I can get actually a real good. Like I can do it better than an AI can at this point. If I actually like go into it, I don't know if there's any market for that. but
Oh, I'm sure there would be. I was saying you could put on like a Saturday Night Live skit or something, like that type of thing. Like, I think there'd be a market for it.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll look into it. Who fucking knows? But
Stay
how
at
are we
home.
today in my sketchy marmoset?
Oh, um, I'm ups and downs, and I was over here stressing about the wrong shit again, and then I was like, oh yeah, yeah, just ride it out, and of course, all good things happen. And so the other day, it's oh, you were stressing over nothing again, ha ha, silly you. Just get to laugh at
Oh,
myself.
that's the best, isn't it? When you're stressing over shit that doesn't actually matter and it's fucking tearing you apart inside, and then you find out it doesn't matter, and you're like, ha ha, good job, me. That's my favorite too.
It also makes me realize like the precarious the situation that I put myself in as far as you know basically like because of my cries for help now I'm actually being watched and it's like oh yeah okay so yeah
Oh
it's an
yeah,
ongoing thing.
that's the worst.
It's refreshing though because like feeling it a bit validated or taken more seriously whereas like I want to do a whole episode on this too and you have like an invisible illness like whatever it is and it's like sometimes you could say things and it seems like people are like oh yeah we all feel that way and it's like no, I really don't think you do because if you all felt this way we would be in a whole heap of trouble
Yeah.
but
Well,
somehow like once people
oh,
do take you seriously like oh this guy's on a little bit of the extreme side then it's like now you got like more of a support system or something.
well, anyone who's interacted with me in the real world knows that. Okay, I've been accused of being a caricature of myself on the internet. I'm a caricature of myself in the real world, and people really don't seem to understand that I am just that this is just me. And it once people realize, like in the real world, that that's just me, they're like, "Oh God, oh wow, okay, so you got problems." What? Yeah, I I was telling you the whole damn time. I don't fucking know how you didn't notice that until now. Jeepers, I've been saying it every damn day.
Yeah, it's like it's old you actually commit like it's like the dude who like what the those Columbine kids or something. It's like before they even wrote the
Yeah,
manifesto, they were running around telling people they were going to shoot the fucking school up. And people were like, "Yeah, whatever.
yeah.
That guy's he's weird."
Um, just for clarification, I'm not gonna shoot anything up.
No, no, no. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I might shoot something up, but like not in that way. Actually, that's a lie. My veins are too deep. I couldn't do intravenous drugs even if I wanted to.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Slamming is one line I would never cross. I had one guy try to stick me with a needle once, and we almost got into a fist fight over it. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
would, even with my favorite drugs, I still wouldn't slam them. I don't know.
well, there was one point I'm gonna say this because it's no one can fucking charge me with anything at this point. It's been too long. But what I used to do is take ketamine and like. So, by the way, hospitals will give you fucking IV bags and like needles and everything, and you can fucking like hook a needle into your hand. You know, one of those fucking like butterfly needles or whatever the fuck they are. Tuck one of those in your hand,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hang the IV bag up, and stick a fucking, the what do you call it, a capsule or a tiny baby syringe.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they'll just give that shit to you in a lot of places. Some places they won't. Some places they'll just be like, "Yeah, we would rather you not have the HIV or hepatitis or something. So take the shit and leave us alone."
So in our office, there's a box of diabetic syringes and a sharps
Yeah,
container, and it's like all like unused, like it's in a bag and shit. But I'm like, why do we have this here? Like, do you think it's like that's just asking to get broken into? Like, if any junkie sees it, you'll be
yep,
like, oh yeah, I'm breaking in there, a bunch of free needles, like.
yep. Well, that's what's so weird to me is where I live now. From what I've seen, they don't have what do you call them? Fucking. I guess it depends on what state you're in as to what they call them, like refuge rooms or safe rooms. They're usually in the emergency room, and you can go there and fucking do your drugs and get high as fuck, and they leave you the fuck alone unless you're having an issue, just so you don't fucking die.
Yeah,
You
I
can
think
walk
we
in
have
there and be
those.
like,
I
"Hey
think we have
man,
those in
I
San
need."
Francisco, but they're not up here. That's like isolated in like San Francisco and LA. I think we have them.
Well, they have them in Wisconsin. That's the thing that confuses me. Is like they're in random places, completely fucking random places, where you could just go and do that, or be like, "Hey, I need 6 needles. I'm gonna shoot up," and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine." Or, "Hey, I want a fucking IV bag," and they'll be like, "Okay, fam, gotcha." No questions asked. And then some places you're just like, "Hey man, I just have like 1 needle. I just, I don't want to fucking use a dirty needle." And they're like, "No, go fuck yourself. Get the hepatitis." And it's wild because
I know
there's no rhyme or reason.
the medical office I used to work at used to do something like that, but they didn't let people use on the in the clinic or on the property, but they just got so tired of people breaking into the biohazard container that they're like, look, just come to the desk and ask for needles. We'll give you clean needles. Just stop breaking into our biohazard container.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are places that'll just give you needles. There are places that'll let you get high, and they're not always the same place. But like, I really do think that's a good thing. Like, hey, if someone's shooting up, at least give them clean needles because that's gonna cost everyone less in the long run, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is if they're doing it in a public place or a place that's supervised, at least somebody will be there hopefully to observe if they start to OD. It could administer whatever
Yeah,
treatment they need, rather than them being by themselves somewhere where nobody's going to be able to help them.
yeah, or in the fucking crack house without a ceiling, or whatever that kind of place. Yeah, yeah. Oh God, but no, that just encourages people to do drugs and not get help, right? That doesn't give them the option to get help in a shame-free space. Oh, no, it definitely doesn't.
I
It's
think there's a peer
sarcasm.
selection thing about that too, where it's like, well, it's easier to go get high with a bunch of other people who are using like whatever you're using, like, oh yeah, we're all in the same
Yeah,
circles, everybody could. But if you try to go and do it around a bunch of normies where people are like, oh look at, you start to get self-conscious about it. There's a bit of shame involved, right? But if nobody's telling you you can't do that, you're still going to have that self-consciousness about using around people who aren't using, right? So it's kind of like a psychological thing to that.
well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, it might be a little bit psychologically manipulative, but like, giving someone a safe space to get high I mean, like you said, they're still gonna have, even if no one's fucking judging them, they're going to be judging themselves. And they're going to be like, well, shit, maybe I shouldn't just be getting high all day, every day. Right? It's like, hey, man, maybe this actually works. And it's like, hey, it doesn't work for everyone. But there are entire humans that get clean because of shit like that, or don't die because of that, and then have the option to get clean. Because they always give them, like, hey, so fucking call this number, we'll help you get clean. You're homeless, you're on drugs, we'll get you clean and get you a job. It's almost like maybe that's kind of a better option than just, criminalizing them for being depressed addicts.
Yeah, yeah.
What do I know, though?
And there's plenty of evidence, I think, that incarceration like almost never actually cures addiction. Like, if you want to get drugs in prison, you're gonna get drugs in prison. Like, I've heard it's even easier sometimes to get drugs in prison.
Well, and worse drugs too. That's the thing. Going to prison, yeah. Like, let's say you were fucking smoking weed and drinking booze before. Or booze. It's easier to get fucking cigarettes in a lot of prisons. You're just gonna wind up on harder shit and wind up back in there in a couple weeks, months, years, whatever. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
It's almost like the system's working exactly as intended, and that's why we need to fucking destroy it. But
right.
I know.
Did I? So I don't know. I don't think I told this story yet. So yesterday, somebody left a baggie of some kind of. I wasn't sure what it was, like rocks or crystal or something. I didn't take a close look at it, but they left it on the bench. And clearly, I did. I was like, oh, that's like a 20 sack at least. Like, just it fell out of their pocket or something. It's sitting on the bench right next to my office, and I was tempted to just toss it at first, and I was like, I'm just going to leave it there and see what happens. And so I did. I left it there for a good hour or two, just watching people, see who would sit down next to it, see if anybody came to try and pick it up. And there was one guy who was clearly standing next to the bench, looked down at the bag, looked at me, looked down at the bag, looked at me, and I said, I walked away. And I came back and it was still there. So I waited till the end of the night. And but I had to show. So I was like, oh, look at this. So I got my rubber gloves out and I picked it up and I showed it to one of my drivers. And I was like, look, somebody lost their drugs on the bench. So I had to validate. I was like, it sucks for them, And then, wrapped it up in the glove and tossed it in the trash. So, yeah, but it was, I thought that was funny because with all the users I know we have, out there, it was like, okay, are they testing me or am I testing them? You know what I mean? Like, I was getting that vibe.
Yes.
Like, it's somebody waiting to see if I'm gonna pick it up, and then I'm watching them to see if they're gonna pick it up. I'm surprised we don't get more of those, but I have found that's the second bag of drugs I've confiscated. The first one I made the mistake of taking a taste test, and whatever it was not. Yeah, you don't want. That's what I was like. I'm not even going to try with this one. I was like, fuck it. I don't want to identify it. Whatever it is, it's probably cut with fentanyl or something. But that shit is nasty.
Oh, when I worked in a hospital, I look. Every time I went to clean the fucking what do you call it? The anesthesiologist's office, because they always have an anesthesiologist in the operating wing on call, and they got like 2 or 3 nurses or whatever. And the nurses are hanging out in the fucking break room, and the anesthesiologist is always fucking zonked out in his office. Well, their office. He's fucking on the couch zonked out. So never go in there and clean unless he wasn't in there. And he was almost always in there. And the one time I went in there, I found a little vial of fucking an empty vial of fentanyl, and just the needle, not the syringe. He clearly fucking tossed the syringe somewhere that wasn't in that room. And look, I feel like not, or at least not let me fucking find it.
Yeah.
Like, this is bad for, this kills people. Please stop. This is like medical grade fentanyl. This is like kill you dead if you fart wrong shit. I know you have a degree in how to fucking administer this stuff properly, but like, come on, man. Don't ever let me fucking find this shit again.
Yeah, my friend
Like,
who ended up ODing, he tried to show it to me a while before he overdosed, and because he had already told me he was using it, and I was like, I don't even know what the shit looks like, and so he tried to show it to me, and at the time I was just pretty dismissive about it. I just glanced at it, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. That's But I probably should have taken a better look so I could identify it, like for future reference.
well, fentanyl is either a white powder or a clear liquid in most situations. So it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, that's like that shit that I found. I thought it was Coke from the looks of it, and it was kind of a little bit, compacted with the same kind of consistency. But it was obvious, when I took a taste that it was not cocaine, and I was like, and then I got super sick. So
They use cocaine in hospitals like all the time. Like not the well, I mean, I guess the doctors are using it, but like on patients, like all the fucking time. They use that for like local anesthetic. Like that's just one of the things. They just take cocaine and mix it with like rubbing alcohol and just rub it on the wound or rub it on where they're gonna fucking cut.
Isn't that kind of similar to how they make Novocaine too? It's a similar kind of.
Yeah, it's very similar from what I understand. I mean, I think it's a different flavor of cocaine or something, but it's still fucking coke, right? It's you could snort it and you get high, right? It's slightly different. And hey, sure, they mix that powder with fucking rubbing alcohol or whatever, but like it's still fucking cocaine. It's the difference between methamphetamine and dextroamphetamine. Like, oh wow, they're both still gonna get me high, huh?
Oh, this is the one that took. Oh.
Yeah, this is the one that's illegal, and this is the one that's legal. And it's like, okay, but that's still fucking coke.
I still have
You're just rubbing coke on people.
I have half a bottle of Ambisol that I can't use, and I keep trying to get rid of it, but I can't use it because I have broken teeth. It makes shit worse. But back when I was fucking tweaking hardcore, I used to like just rub that shit on my gums just to get that effect,
Yeah. Well, look, the first time I had to clean cocaine off a tray, I was fucking shook, and I brought it up to someone, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. We do that here." And I was like, "Excuse me, what the fuck? You just have cocaine laying around?" And they're like, "Yeah, no. I mean, we got all kinds of drugs laying around." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, so it's just so I just have to clean up cocaine?" And they're like, yeah, you just throw it in the black box instead of the gray one. Like, okay, I guess.
It's funny because I know, and it's a dirty secret, that I can't say, okay, a good number of the people who I've known who have worked in the medical industry or as social workers, they like to do coke, and they don't, I wouldn't say they're like habitual users, but they go out on Friday night and that's what they do. They go do some coke. They go out to the clubs, like all that good shit. It's like, okay, so this is still like a pretty normal thing in society. You guys still think this is okay, right?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I'm like, whatever. If it's your flavor, you don't get in trouble, fucking fine. But it's the same people that will judge any other type of drug user, including potheads. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's the hypocrisy in it. They're like, oh, you like to get stoned. That's for, fucking blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, you like to fucking go and do coke so you can dance on fucking Fridays, like,
Well,
you're judging
when
me.
I worked on weekends at the hospital, I was in between the operating wing, like if they had someone there, like for an emergency or whatever, and I split between there and the emergency wing, and I'd be taking out like hazmat trash and shit, like fucking needles and tubes and hoses and IV bags and shit like that, and taking them out to the place where they get sent to the incinerator and all that jazz. And I'd be in the ER fucking mopping, and like I'd hear one of the fucking nurses or technicians or doctors be like, "Yeah, well, you like need to stop drinking so much. Like that shit's bad for you." And then they just like walk back out and like fucking open up a flask and dump it in their fucking cup of coffee and just drink the whole damn thing down. And we make eye contact, and I'm like, I ain't judging. I feel you, man. But also, and they're just like, yeah, well, I got. I guess you are. Hey, man, this is unhealthy for you, and it doesn't matter because, like, they're the same people who are just like, you need to stop smoking cigarettes. You're gonna have a heart attack. And then while I'm out on my fucking smoke break, they come out and have a cigarette. Except it's not one; it's like 6 in a row. They're fucking smoking them 2 or 3 at a time. You know what I mean? I think when you work in that field, you kind of got to do whatever you got to do to get by. Unfortunately,
that's funny because I didn't realize, like, when I started where I'm at now, there's like there's a pretty strict no smoking policy that everybody's trying to enforce, like fucking as far as like whatever, just in the transit zone where the buses are stopping, and there's like a city ordinance and all this shit. So there's like, okay. And then, obviously it's supposed to be like 25 feet away from any public entrance, which would include any bus door, like that's the state law. So it's like, okay. So you got all that going on. And I didn't realize early in, because I only see each of the drivers, like a few times a day for the most part, because they're out on their routes. I see them when they stop. I see them when they take their breaks, right? And so I didn't realize how many of the drivers were smokers, because I'm pretty sure that when I first started in there, they were all doing the same thing I was, like trying to, freaking swing around the back of the building to hide it and shit. Now everybody's like, fuck it. You know what? We're just going to follow the same rules as everybody else. Nobody here we're all grown ass adults, and nobody needs to hide the fact that they smoke tobacco. You know what I mean? It was like, but there's like this whole thing with the city ordinance that took effect and stuff, where it's part of our policy. And so I think we've softened about that a bit, but it's people are great. Like, the more you tell them don't smoke here, the more they want to test that rule and see how far they can push it.
That's when I ran my cemetery, I was just kitty corner. We're in the middle of nowhere, right? And just kitty corner is a county hospital. And, well, they changed it so that no one's allowed to smoke on any hospital property. So they'd come over by me and smoke, and I don't fucking give a shit. So, like, I got fed up with them just, like, tossing their cigarettes, so I just fucking put up a fucking, one of them cigarette fucking... You know the things, they're shaped like a weird dick with a hole in the top?
Yeah, so it just goes in, and there's like, hopefully snuffs itself out at the bottom, as long as you empty it.
It's full of sand at the bottom, and you got the fucking tube and whatever, and I just put one of those there. It was super great. I mean, we looked busy because we had people there all hours of the day just hanging out and smoking cigarettes. And it was like, yeah, Yeah, I don't give a shit. Fucking smoke as many goddamn cigarettes as you want on my property. I don't fucking care. It looks better for me. Just put them in the fucking hole. That's all I care about.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I wish I could do that sometimes, like, but my office is like literally my shack is right in the middle of the fucking terminal. But what I'll do a lot of the time, especially if I like somebody, I'll be like, like half the time I won't even say anything to them. I'll just pretend I don't see them smoking. But if I do, if I like them and I know them, I'll be like, oh yeah, just come over here. Let's walk and talk real quick. And I'll walk in. I'll even smoke with them sometimes and walk them over to where they're supposed to be smoking and just pretend we're having a conversation. Like I never said, you're not supposed to smoke over there. But anybody else who was watching was like, okay, made him go where he's supposed to go. So I guess that's the point. Hopefully they get the point. Like whatever. I made him walk away from you with a cigarette. That was the point.
well, most people will register, oh, I smoke here. The people who, well, the rest of them intentionally don't register that. They're just like, I don't give a fuck. And it's like, okay, but like, sir, ma'am, whatever you are, can you move like 15 feet to your left? Please?
Oh no, it's bad. Like I have people that fuck with me so bad they will light up right next, and I have windows on all four sides. They will light up right next to my office and look in directly at me, make me come out, and we know we've had this conversation 100 times. They want me to come outside. And as soon as I open the door, they're like, "Oh, you want me to go over there?" I'm like, "Yes, please." And I was like, "Okay." But they want me to do that every fucking time I see them. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, they want to get away with it. Which is like, I guess I understand you want to get away with something, but like, come on, pick your battles. Just, they're letting you smoke. Just smoke 30 feet in the other direction.
Again, though, when I came in rolling hard. Like this one kid, he wanted to fight me so bad. I pulled his cigarette right out of his mouth because I asked him to move, and he had his whole kit out, started emptying his bong into a water bottle, and I pulled his cigarette right out of his mouth. I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for you to empty your fucking bong, dude. All you gotta do is walk 6 feet over there. You can leave your shit on the bench. Like nobody's touching your shit. Like you're just slow playing me, dude. So I just pulled his cigarette right from between his lips. I ripped it in half and I threw it. And he came at me and I was like, go ahead, dude. Have fun. Fucking swing on me, bro. See what happens. He thought about it. He backed the fuck up. But yeah, no, people have seen me do some shit, like I was fucking hard ass on some of the people when I came in there. So they're like, okay, want to, so now it's more of a subtle fuck with me now that I've softened up a little bit, established some dominance. It's like, yeah.
Well, I never had to do, well, okay, I guess I have had to do the established dominance thing, but most of the time, what I did was like, hey man, come on now. I ain't fucking with you. Don't fuck with me. Hey man, I don't give a shit if on your 30-minute break you take 32 minutes. I'll leave the door open. You can come right on in. I don't give a fuck. That's between you and your supervisor if you're 2 minutes late. Not my fucking problem, right? Not my fucking problem. I know you're supposed to be here, so I'll let you in. I ain't gonna let a random person in, but I'll let you in. If you take that 2 minutes, hey look, if you want to smoke here instead of directly across the street, 25 feet away, hey man, I'm gonna have to fucking tell your supervisor. I don't give a shit either way if you're here or not. But like, if you could just do that, that'd be better for both of us. That's less work for me. It's less work for you.
Oh no, see, I'm in a totally different position as far as that goes. Like, I don't fuck with the employees there. We've got a basic understanding now. I don't say shit about shit unless it interferes with my business. But that's like the weird middle ground. Most of the time, I'm just dealing with the public. I'm dealing with the consumers, right? But then it's like, okay, then we got the employees, and if they need the assist, I come in to assist them. And then only you know, if it's out of my fucking control in some way, do I contact their supervisor? You know what I mean? That's the next tier of escalation. So it's like,
yeah. Well, one of the worst things is when someone is like taking a smoke break when they're not supposed to be. That was my least favorite thing. Cause like I noticed it on the cameras, and it's like if it happens once, I'm not gonna fucking rat on you for taking a smoke break. You know, you're working second shift, you take a fucking 8 p.m. smoke break on a Tuesday once. I don't fucking care. It was once. But like,
I've got the ones that do it on the regular, and so
yeah,
my business is to be like, walk up. There's a long line of people waiting to get on the bus, and I'm like, oh, sorry, your driver's on break. And it's like, regardless of where they are or what they're doing, I've just got to regulate that line. Be like, they'll be back when they get back. You just hold your horses, And it's like, I'm not telling anybody about that. That's between y'all. That's job security for me too. So. I don't know. Like in reality, it's pretty simple business in that way. And like I said, I'm pretty solid with most of these folks now, to where it's like, okay, I know your routine, you know mine. We just we work it. So
yeah. Well, most of my jobs, it's either like, hey, you're in a chemical plant. You really can't be smoking. You could smoke after your shift. We don't want you getting fucking chemicals off your cigarettes and the chemicals you're making. I can't. Or it's like, hey man, just like smoke where everyone else does so I can't see you on the cameras, dumbass. Like, clearly you ain't supposed to be smoking because you don't know where the cameras don't go. So, like, you clearly didn't talk to the supervisors about it.
Oh no, we've got almost nowhere where the cameras don't go, which is kind of a bitch, but it's good for transparency and all that. So like, and I don't have access to them. So that's the thing. They're watching all of us and me, but I don't have access to the cameras. I have to request footage like formally with paperwork and shit if I need it. And get approval. So it's like, no, and Big Brother is out there, but it's like, as far as what I would tell what I would tell all the consumers, I'd be like, oh, well, if our employees can't smoke here and I can't smoke here, then you can't smoke here. But then if one of my freaking drivers breaks that rule, then it's like, oh, now I look like the asshole, So it's like, okay. But again, I don't say shit to them. If I feel the need, I would go to their supervisor. I wouldn't even address them. That's the, you know what I mean? Like, the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nice not having to work as security, just because I don't have to fucking worry about other people and the other people and the other people, and then the people above me. It's kind of nice just fucking doing my thing, and it's just a thing, and I prefer that. I don't got responsibilities. I vastly prefer that.
I don't know. Yeah, right now it's keeping me out of my head, but then I have to shift gears every time and, okay, now I'm doing the work thing, now I'm doing the life thing, and just fucking, try to snap out of it so I can deal with my own personal bullshit,
Yeah.
But even one of the supervisors out there, it's pretty cool dude, and I was telling him about my car issue. He was like, he said he might have a tool I could borrow, so they're actually interested, like I said, just fucking helping me out in life or whatever, that type of shit. So a bit more personal there. Like, it was like, yeah, if I gotta do this fucking job on my car, and all I've got is a socket wrench, and he's like, oh yeah, I think I have a power wrench or whatever thing. So oh, nice, that will be awesome. So yeah, like, once you develop those relationships a little bit, it's like, get past all the professional bullshit. It's like, okay, we're all people, we all got bullshit going on backstage too, Like, I don't know. That's where I feel it starts to evolve into a little bit of a
No,
fantasy or
no,
friend.
no, no. None of us are people. We're all robots for the capitalist machine. Well, at least that's what we're supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, right. It's a big fucking conspiracy. It's a big fucking club, and we're not part of it, right?
Well, yeah.
Shit, I should go to work for the IRS, shouldn't I? Then I'll be inside.
Shit, man. The IRS has it fucking great. They get guns now. I mean, to be fair, there were IRS agents who already had guns, but they were like the enforcement part. They were essentially the police wing. But like, they expanded that, which is like, hey man, can I join the IRS? I'm Jewish. I know how taxes work. I know how guns work. I feel like I could be one of them people.
Are those the guys who like physically actually come in and take your shit? Like at the end, they're like, no,
I think
moving van.
I'm not entirely certain. I think they're the people who show up alongside the cops who are just like, hey, give up your shit now or there's going to be an issue. And I think they're the ones who just like have a gun on them and they're like, hey, now we're with the IRS. Here's the local, pork patrol or whatever. Look, pay up. You're either going to court now or you're forfeiting this, and this. I think that's their job. I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that is essentially their job. Which, honestly, I could do that job. I mean, it's no different than working for the mafia or something. I mean, I'll do it. Shit, I don't give a fuck. I mean, who cares? I mean, is it really different working for one mafia or the other? Come on now.
Sorry, I had to relieve myself. Yes, no, and true. I actually heard a hot take from a conservative. Well, I think he's a libertarian. I listened to Sticks Hexenhammer 666.
Sticks Hexenhammer. That's a guy who's been around for fucking ever. I love him. I don't agree with him all the time or often even, but I like him. He's good people.
He is definitely interesting to listen to. He was saying something to that effect earlier. He was talking about the border control, border crisis, or whatever, and whatever policy shit they're talking about now. And he was like, it'd be more effective to send the fucking mafia down to the border and have them do it. It's like, and it actually made a degree of sense. He's like, at least the people who get smuggled over would actually make it alive and not get sold into prostitution and then get fucking beheaded, whatever.
Well, we're essentially living in the same world as we did back in Prohibition, where, the mafia is bad, but like, they're not government bad, right? We're just kind of like, well, I mean, I would rather owe money to the mafia or a loan shark than I would the IRS. And
well, I think in this case he's talking about the way that border patrol.
Yeah, it's border patrol. Yes.
Yeah. So.
They're more effective at it.
Yeah.
They're going to be better at it, and they're far more concerned with people not dying because they good job. Give me a sec.
Are literally the commodity in the business. They're smuggling human beings. So those people are ideally supposed to actually make it where they're going, not die along the way.
Yeah, they would prefer the people not die, whereas the U.S. government's like, whatever. you know, the federal government don't fucking give a shit. They're just like, yeah, well, whatever. If they get across, we'll put them in cages. If not, yeah, it sucks for them.
And basically, the policy is, well, we'd rather not intern them, so, leave them there for whatever atrocity is going to happen at the hands of the fucking coyotes and shit,
Which is fucking wild, because it's like, hey, they're still paying taxes whether they're documented or not. Like, every time they buy something, they're paying a tax unless they're in fucking Alaska, right? They're
Yeah, I think Alaska doesn't have the sales tax,
yeah. But it's like, the vast majority of the U.S. has a sales tax. They're paying for your roads and everything, whether or not they're documented. So, like, it's kind of a net positive, right?
One would think. But the logic is that, they send this money back to Mexico, so it actually doesn't circulate in the economy. But those people still have to pay to live here, so that much of it at least does.
Yeah.
And then I guess they're saying, like, well, because our dollar's more, then it's artificially inflating the Mexican economy. Oh, good night, bud. Thanks for...
I mean, yeah, it's artificially inflating the Mexican economy in the same way the Mexican police are artificially inflating their own economy, I guess. So,
because they're gonna buy commodities from here too. So, like any money that is getting sent to Mexico is not necessarily all going to be spent in Mexico. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. Well, it's the same thing like cartels. Yeah, they're taking American money, but also, like, they're spending the American money in Mexico. So, I mean,
imagine the amount of money that is made here that is sent back to Mexico in order to smuggle more human beings here. That's technically, bringing more into our economy one way or the other.
All right, hold on, give me a minute. I'm doing a travel real quick. Going back to the hidey hole.
Don't want to disturb Bugs' sleepy time.
Yeah, he's sleepy, so I don't know why he's got the light on when he's sleepy, but...
Because you touch yourself at night.
Okay, well, fucking rude. But I just give me like fucking 30 seconds max. You can keep talking, I'll be listening.
You take as much time as you need. That's something my late friend was very interested in. I want to touch on a lot. On a regular basis, like just true crime, and especially like current events in the criminal underworld. Like, there's still, we still have the Italian mafia in America. They're very low key, but they still function. And then the Mexican mafia and the cartels are a whole different animal. And it's like, there's so much interesting shit to cover there. It's like, we don't hear about it. Like, we saw a few beheading videos, maybe, a decade ago, and everybody was just like, keep that off the internet. And now everybody's horrified. And it's like, they do this shit all the time. They're fucking wild. I've seen a dude get beheaded with a fucking machete. I've seen a dude get beheaded with a fucking chainsaw. Yeah. That may have been why my original Facebook account got deleted. I reshared one of those.
Yeah, I think sharing a beheading is generally something that is frowned upon by TOS, yes.
Well, at the time on Facebook, they still had that, like, this is sensitive content or something where you could, like, click or unclick it. But then, yeah, somebody reported it, and yeah, it definitely. But it wasn't like directly sharing the video. It was like a link to an external site. So they were like, oh, don't do that anymore,
Oh god, I thought I lost my tobacco for a second. I found it. We're good. I have the tobacco.
No, I never followed TOS. When I first joined Facebook, I was still big on MySpace. I started out on MySpace and Plenty of Fish, and then when I got a Facebook, I was like, well, this is like a backup account. This fucking site's a joke. I think it's fucking like Mark Zuckerberg still had like a regular ass profile, and so did Tom from MySpace. You're just like, what the fuck ever. And so I put up a fucking dick pic as my profile picture on Facebook, and nobody even noticed. It took like weeks for anybody to say anything. there was nothing. Like,
Sounds about right.
I also put up a pic for a while on both my MySpace. I don't remember if I put it on Facebook. I know I put it on MySpace of a fat, nasty, freaking loose turd I had taken, or the bowl was all full. I got the picture of it just as all the poop was swirling, and I put that up as my picture. Like, haha, take that. And then I used it as a faux album cover for a couple of albums I pressed.
Nice. Hey man, but like sometimes you take a shit and you kind of need to take a picture of it because you're like, God damn. Ooh, that is out of the water, man. That is like 2.5 shits worth. We need to take a picture of that. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Sometimes I just see it and I'm like, wow, that is fucking impressive.
I remember my uncle one time when we were kids. I was back when they were living down in the Los Angeles area. I went down to visit my uncle and my aunt, my cousins, and he called everyone in the bathroom one time. So I clogged the fucking toilet up, and I was like, "Hey, I clogged the toilet up." And he walks in, he goes, "Oh my God, everyone, come take a look at this shit. This thing is bigger than my forearm. I don't even understand how this much shit could come out of a little kid." I was like probably 5 or something. It was like the length of my entire body.
Yeah. Hey man, sometimes that's just how it be. And you got to acknowledge it because that's an impressive feat. Look, humans do a lot of impressive things, but the amount of shit that comes out of us is honestly both literally and
figuratively. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading that in a skater magazine one time. It was like the commentary part in the front of it was a rollerblading magazine. I can't remember what the fuck it was called. It was called Daily Bread, and they had the editors basically bantering in emails back and forth, and that was what. So the one editor says I don't remember what it was, taking the length of the measurement of the poop, and they said, "Do you believe that much shit could come out of my tiny body?" And the other one replied, "Yeah, but out of which orifice?"
Exactly. I mean, I will say personally, a lot of shit comes out of both ends of me. To be fair, most of the shit comes out the rear end. Most of what comes out of my front is shit, but like not actual shit, just like shit adjacent. The metaphor is falling apart.
Shit, yeah.
I'm talking shit, but it ain't shit. You know what I mean? I'm just talking shit. It ain't necessarily factually inaccurate. It's just I'm talking shit. I'm just saying shit. It's factually accurate shit, but it's still shit. I guess this is me saying I ain't a liar. I'm just a shit talker. There's a difference. Damn it. Look, there's a difference between big fish stories and straight up lying. And to be fair, my fish are pretty big, so.
Have you spoken to any of the good old gangs since the whole feud started? I think I fixed the echo.
Oh.
I had to adjust my shit.
Oh, that might have been me. I had to my headphones died, so I'm just on phone mic, so that might have caused it. But I ain't talked to no one on that particular side of all sidely. I don't know. I heard from them. I seen maybe one stream they were doing in the past couple weeks. I mean, shockingly, I do have a real life where I do stuff. I know this is weird to certain individuals on certain sides of a situation, certain individual situation. But yeah, ain't heard nothing from them. I mean, to be fair, if they got anything to say to me, I'm very open and transparent. You know where my channel is, you know where my Discord is, you know where I hang out. Fucking. I mean, none of them said nothing to me.
Wait, who are we talking about? Because it's like I haven't seen William in a while. I mean, he's dropped by and left a comment, but he hasn't been in a stream in a hot minute.
He's been busy with Sammy. They've been having some weird, completely heterosexual, just bros being bros stuff.
Hey, William is my butt brother. Yeah. No.
Well, hey,
I can't
man,
share with Sammy. No.
Well, take that up with them. I don't know. I'm just saying they've been just boys being boys, bros being bros.
No, I noticed Sammy was doing this series on the Constitution. Oh yeah, Will was doing that too. But yeah,
I think they're co-streaming it. I think they're streaming it on each other's channels. Is I think what's happening. I could be wrong, but it seems to be that's what's happening.
And I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about, because I thought they were talking about the same thing we're talking about, like abolishing it or something. But now it seems like more and more do you know what they're doing? Are they defending it?
Constitution. Will not a full-on anarchist. He's what the fuck does he call it? A menarchist? He wants minimal government. A minarchist? Something like that. He wants minimal government. I'm just like, hey man, like our neighbors are enough, bro. Like, we can watch each other's back, man. Like, hey man, like out on the streets, we're already doing all this shit, man. We're watching out for each other and making sure the other person's fed and not getting stabbed. We could fucking do this. Whereas he's just like, yeah, no, there needs to be laws and rules, but like minimal.
So he's just kind of a libertarian.
He's like a step further than a libertarian. I think. I could be wrong. I'm not entirely certain. I think he's like a step further past libertarian, but he hasn't quite taken the full extra step to just straight up abolish the government, tear it down, fire, burn.
Yeah, because then we don't have like a country, right? We can't be a country anymore if we don't have a government. That can't happen.
Well, they're already making people illegal in this country, so like what the fuck's the point of even having a country? Like, okay, hey, if you're gonna have a country, either have better immigration rules or just don't let anyone in. Like, either be Sweden or China. Don't fucking try and do halvesies of each. That doesn't work.
Did you hear about this fucking mass Muslim fucking like kind of side shifting, but Japan finally started allowing immigration, and they got a bunch of Muslims in. And now they've got like a fat Muslim shift. Have you heard about this?
No, but that actually kind of makes sense. Honestly, I think like slightly liberal Muslims or like more centrist Muslims would do really well in Japan. I don't know if Japan would like them, but I think they'd be on the same page of like, hey, let's not have tattoos. Let's not have skin showing. Let's be respectful to each other.
Well,
You know.
it's that, but they've also got like they've got a bit of a polygamous culture, and Islam allows for that too. So it seems to be like a lot of them are just marrying in Muslim women and then adopting the culture, and then they've got like these like polygamous cults going on now and shit. Like, so it was a pretty big number, like 250,000, I think they said over. I don't remember if it was a pretty short period of time.
Well, yeah, I would take Muslim polygamist cults over Aum Shinrikyo every day. Personally, I don't live in Japan. I'm not Japanese, but if I was and I did, hey, them Muslims fucking multiple women or whatever, way better than fucking sarin
like
gas
one for
attacks.
each
You know
night
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
Yeah, yeah. I also know that the Chinese Buddhists were fucking killing them, right? So that was a thing too. So maybe they're saving some of those people.
Oh yeah, they had straight up like concentration camps for the fucking what do you call them? There's a word for them. Oh, why can't I remember? The Chinese Muslims, I forget what it is, but yeah. They live in China, and like they had straight up concentration camps for them and shit. It's like, yeah, no, I mean, hey, good on you, Japan. You're, well, not committing war crimes against China. You're uncommitting war crimes China's committing, I guess. Thanks. Appreciate you, Japan.
I heard it was big in Japan, yeah. Who did that song? Fuck, no. I'm going to get sidetracked on that one. Yep.
Well, like, I had the word for a fucking second and it slipped my mind again. Yeah, China's fucking fucked. And Japan's fucked, but in a different way. So it's like, I guess, like, they're very xenophobic.
Yeah.
Like, people will say America's xenophobic. Nah, man, you ain't been to, like, fucking rural Czech Republic or anywhere in Japan or, you know, fucking China or fucking Saudi Arabia. Those places are xenophobic. We're like soft xenophobic in the States.
Hey, look at the
Uyghurs. Fucking thank you.
Do you okay? Wait.
Or what do they call them? The Uyghurs.
Wait, do you think like the Jews were like the original white supremacists, though, right? Like, isn't that why like everybody? Because they all consider the Jews responsible for Christianity, and Christianity did all the bad stuff, right? Like,
well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask a white supremacist if Jews are white, the answer is no. If you ask someone who's very upset at people with light skin tones if Jews are white, then the answer is yes. Jews don't get a winning card no matter what because they're hated by both sides just because we come in a range of colors. And it's like, hey, you know what? To be fair, it is our fault. We did like 18 genocides before we got genocided. So like, fair enough, hate us for that. We
I was
don't
reading
run
the
the
history
world,
too,
though.
like early on, like in the Roman history, right? They're like these Jews, they're down here and they're kind of like in between, like their territory, whatever. They're in between a bunch of black and brown people, and they're a bunch of white people, and they're like, "This is our land, and we want sovereignty." And the Romans are like, "Can't you just move?" And they're like, "No, no, we gotta stay here." And then that's kind of like how Israel came about, or something later on. But yeah, like back in the day, it was just like, really, dude, like you have like nobody likes you over here. Like, why don't you just come, hang out with us? And then they were just like, really, like, no, this is our spot.
Here's the problem. Jews literally just like crawled out from under rocks one day and decided we own this land. Right. There were people living there. And like my people just like fucking crawl literally like from under rocks, like fucking Patrick Star, right? Just like fucking rock flips up and they're just like coming out with clubs and wooden swords and just sticks. Just
have to
random
say, for
sticks.
some reason, when you said Patrick Star, I pictured Jeffree Star, but I think that's just my brain. But
No. That tracks. No. That's imagine like Jeffree Star, like Jeffree with a big club. Yeah, that's pretty accurate to how I would imagine Jews were. Yes. Look.
They look to the indigenous folk.
Well, look. Hey, to be fair, like Jews are generally pretty okay with being queer. Like not the super hardcore Jews, but like even like more conservative Jews are just like, well, there's like, hey, 4 genders in the Talmud. It's mostly the Torah only Jews that are just like, wow, could you not be queer? Whereas most other Jews are just like, oi, well, you don't have to wear a hat now. Well, that's a conversation I had with my rabbi of me coming out and him being like, oi, well, you could still wear a hat, but you don't have to wear a hat now. We're going to have to get you a new Jew name. And then I got a new Jew name. And that was the end of anything. It was just that was it. That Jews are fucking bizarre creatures, is all I'm saying. Why am I calling myself a creature?
Yeah,
we are though.
We are myself in the third person here. Well, you're not really a Jew anymore. You're just,
Well, I'm a Jew. I'm not Jewish. That's like I'm ethnically a Jew.
A Jewess, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Look. Judaism is one of the few ethno-religions that still exists. Hey, Mormonism really tried to bring that back, being an ethno-religion. Somehow made it more racist than Judaism. Not sure how they did that, but good on them, I guess.
I've heard they are the most secular religion now, though.
Jews? Or Mormons?
Jews.
Because Jews, yes. Yeah. I don't know a rabbi that actually believes anything in the Torah or the Talmud or any of the fucking books of the prophets or whatever. Unless you count fucking J-dubs. The only fucking rabbi I know, the only rabbis I know are atheist. So I don't think I've ever met a fucking Rav that ain't an atheist. It's a very Jewish thing to be atheist. Which is like I still eat kosher at every possible opportunity. Like I try to eat kosher. Why? I don't fucking know, because it's just ingrained in my brain. It's just what I do. I try to be fucking halakhic if at all possible. But yeah, no, it's Jews are very atheist, which is weird that Christians decided they're gonna take that and use it to be the thing. I don't know. Seems weird to me.
Yeah, I guess there's like more anti-Semitism now than like prior to the Holocaust. Some people are saying. I think I read that somewhere.
You know, that makes sense because pretty much like in that era, people pretty much left Jews alone. The whole thing with the Holocaust was Poland was like, we don't like Jews, get the fuck out of here. And Germany was like, da, yes, come, friend. And then 3 years later, Hitler got elected, and they're just like, die, friend, yes, die, Jew, ha. And Poland was just like, shit, they're coming for us next. We don't have anywhere to run, man. Fucking Jews, just throw more Jews at him. Throw the Jews we don't have left. Oh, God, we don't want to get taken over again. And then they got taken over again, and that's my brief history of World War II.
Oi, look at the trees. Sporting anti-swastika tattoos. I need to get me one of those.
I mean, one of my favorite things is people get shocked, or like at my old job, like my boss would be like, God, you can't just say cat's a Jew. I have Hebrew tattooed on my fucking hand. Have you seen my fucking schnoz? Have you seen my weirdly squinty Middle Eastern eyes? Just the almond-shaped squinty eye. Yes, I'm a Jew. Jesus fucking... It does... Look, they can say I'm a Jew. That's just factually accurate. They're not being offensive. That's just an accurate statement. They're not saying it to be mean. It's just, hey, cat's a Jew.
People don't see race and ethnicity anymore. It's invisible now. We don't see it anymore. Doesn't no.
Well, yeah,
we can't
yeah,
see that.
Which, I mean, I guess fine if you want or whatever, but like that's the problem. They say they don't, but then bring it up all the time. Which, hold on.
We'll be right back after these commercial messages. No, it's just me. Whenever Cat gets back. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was like, I was thinking an English band, but it might be no effects. Yeah. So appreciate guys like the Casualties. The Casualties, they have a song in that vein. Yeah, like I think, Jewish people, see, the thing is they get it from, they're like the Irish. The Jews and the Irish, they get it from all the other white groups too. But I feel like all the white groups just do it to each other, like in a way. So they're just like, they do it to each other plus the people of color. And then the people of color do it back to them. But Jews seem to get like the worst of the brunt of like, I don't know what you kind of
so what
amalgamated hatred.
is we're not white, but we're not white. Right? We don't fall into either group easily. Because there are some pretty dark Jews, there are some pretty light Jews. It's just.
Do you think that's why? Like, it would be like because they got to blend into the white and the non-white culture, and then they, so then they got hated from both.
I think they get hated from both. Well, we get hated from both because we don't fit neatly in a box. Because, like I said, we're not white, but we're not white. right?
Okay, so why do people think that all Jews are rich though? Like all Jews are rich money grubbers who will stab you in the back
That
for
was
a
a
penny.
book. What's that? The fucking, not the Elders of Zion, the fucking somethings of Zion, the fucking the Zionist book. That's where it comes from. I forget what the fuck it's called.
I couldn't fucking tell you.
Yeah, I'll go there in a minute.
I think Kat went to look up the book. Yeah, I have no idea what book that is, but
The fucking prescriptions, or the not the prescriptions, the scriptures or something of the Elders of Zion. Something to that effect.
so is that like a part of the Talmud or
No,
is that a
no,
separate
no,
book?
that is not a part of the Talmud. That was written in the 1900s at some point. That was way after the Talmud. Well, both of them, I guess, whether you're going with the Egyptian or,
So modern interpretation though, yeah.
No. No. This is a Zionist thing. This is like a white supremacist. Like, they
Oh,
believe
okay.
they're
I was confused
Zionists.
about that. Okay. I thought,
Yeah.
but Zion just means heaven, right? Like traditionally, right? They're just.
No,
Or,
that's just a mountain.
oh, okay. It's not
It's
the
just a
heaven.
place that would be a good place to live. I mean, it depends on what flavor of Jew you're talking to, I suppose. Some people are just like Ethiopian Jews believe Zion is like the equivalent of like Eden or something, and you get to go there if you can find it or whatever. There's all kinds of different things, but yeah, the Zionist thing is like Jews rule the world.
Right.
And like run everything, and it's like the transcriptions or the prescriptions or the somethings
So
of
it's
the
pretty
Elders of
similar to
Zion.
the Christian freaking.
The person who wrote it was Catholic, if I'm remembering correctly, because up until 1963, I think, the Catholics held every Jew that's ever lived personally accountable for the death of Jesus Christ. You can look that up. Catholics did hold to that until, like I said, the 60s or something.
So, what Look at the Trees was asking, do Palestinians and Jews are genetically very similar because they come from the same region? You think is that true?
Well, I mean, I'm a Palestinian Jew, so I mean, I'm a bit biased, but yes.
Do you think that's generally true? Like of most anybody who's like, I guess, genetically descended from the historical Jewish people or whatever?
Hold on 1 second. I gotta move quick.
Do what?
I gotta move rooms quick. I'll be right back. Just give me like 30 seconds.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, that's another one I used to know how to play on.
All right, I have returned. But yeah, so like Palestinians and Jews, we are essentially the same peoples. We just have different religions. And even then, sometimes we don't. Like, there is an ethnic distinction that can be made. But, like, it's a distinction like it, like I guess technically I think I would be a Canaanite Jew. You know, I am a Coptic Jew. I am, from the non-Hebrew speaking Jew group. But like, yeah, man, but like, we all lived in the same area. I guess technically, like I said, I would probably be a Canaanite. But like,
I
we
read
speak
something though that said that the
Arabic.
Canaanites were black, Think were they,
Yeah, well, that's just the fucking Torah and the Bible being racist.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
yeah.
well, they also said that fucking one of Noah's kids, Ham, looked at him, passed out, drunk and naked, and was like, wow, hey, bros, look at dad being a fucking piece of shit. And then he got cursed to be black, and all his kids were black. So, like, we're talking about that book. I feel like maybe.
Oh, okay, I get it now. That's what they were saying. Because I totally thought, yeah, okay. I interpreted it differently, but now I see, yeah, okay.
Where'd I fucking yeet my goddamn fucking.
Oh, fuck yeah, you just reminded me.
I had a snack with me. Where the fuck did I yeet it to? Oh, found it. Found my snack. But yeah, it's a very well in Jewish culture, like white is pure, black is stained. And that has nothing to do with race. It's just like about wool, right? You have to like get pure good wool or pure good paper for it to be white, right? And that's where the whole, white and black and gray and stained and soiled and everything comes from. And a lot of modern Jews and pretty much all Christians have decided, hey, let's make this about race versus talking about someone's soul. That's how that went. And
Or just
that's how
like
it
speaking
stuck.
generally to physical cleanliness, like, keeping dirt off of your skin, like could be one interpretation, especially
Yeah,
if you happen to
it's
have
like
pale
physical and
skin.
spiritual cleanliness. That's what they were talking about. Yeah. Physical and spiritual. And Christians, and like I said, some modern Jews are just like, yeah, it's about race. Fuck the Schwarzes. And it's like, okay, now, but like, hey, man, there's a lot of black Jews, right? Like, Ethiopia's a thing, man. Cool. Hey, how about all the fucking Sephardi Jews? Okay, yeah, they're brown, right? Hey, how about the Coptic Jews? How about the normal air quotes Jews that are just brown because they're from the Middle East? Can we be a little bit less racist? I'd appreciate it. The answer is no. Fuck you.
Slight
Vote
disclaimer:
Jew no matter who.
there are no experts on here, but yeah, we'll display what we know about the. Is this Will? Are you Will Kincaid? You're not Will Kincaid.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm a Will Kincaid mind slave again.
No.
Oh yeah, shit.
That is not Will.
Yeah, it's almost like we're different people, and I don't endorse what Will does necessarily. I mean, it's almost like we're completely different people. It's just like we're
I almost bought
real
into
world
you
friends.
actually
Like I very dislike a lot of the things he's done online.
I will say, before I got to know you, I almost bought into you being like Will's alter ego or something, because somebody made that accusation once. But I've seen y'all in a bunch of streams together, and I just don't think Will's that great of a ventriloquist. Plus, y'all have talked over each other in my stream, so I think that's evidence in of itself. Plus, you display a much superior character. So,
well, I also this goes back to the whole thing of like the time the Geek Room tried to accuse me of being my boyfriend at the time, my now ex-boyfriend, but they accused me of being lovesick low, using a voice changer. I'm my own person. I don't know why the fuck everyone's so goddamn fucking stupid that they can't understand that I'm a separate human being from anyone else. It's very obvious. I am very clear. Like, hey, I like Will. I disagree with him on an incredible amount of things. I think he's a fucking asshole. I think he's a piece of shit. But he's my friend. Fucking sue me or something. I don't know. I'm not his goddamn mind slave. I'm not his dumb ass. You got a problem with Will? Fucking talk to Will. Don't fucking talk to me because I ain't gonna fucking tell him. I don't give a shit about what fucking problem anyone fucking else has with Will. That's not my fucking problem. Take that to Will. I'm not Will. Fuck you. Fuck you and your bullshit. Okay? That's all I gotta say. I got very New York there. I'm sorry. I think living here has been rubbing off on me.
No, that's good. I think that's a good character for you when you use that. I got to work on my my mafia. You know, what are you doing here? Are you a friend of ours? No.
Hold on, Kevin. I just want to say, when you walk. Or when you talk, walk, and act like ... plenty of ellipses. Hey, what do I walk, talk, and act like? You ever seen me? You ever, like, hey, I say heinous shit. I'll admit to that. I'm an absolute piece of shit human being. But if you want to lump me in the same group as Will Kincaid, well, you just very clearly don't have eyes or ears. Man.
Well, wait. So no. To be fair, like, for people who have drawn, some conclusion about, like, okay, you're siding with Will in the fact that you're not disavowing him, but you're still like, no, that dude's a fucking douchebag. But I'm not completely writing him off.
I've said I hate Will. I think he's a piece of shit. He's still my friend. Fuck me, I guess. I don't know what the fuck else you want me to say.
Do you hate me too? No. How many of your friends do you hate?
Well, okay, I hate Will for different reasons. There's a whole thing that, like, all these people seem to not fucking understand. That's fine. I'm an agent of chaos. I'm not owned by Will. I don't work for Will. But if Will wants to do something that I think is funny, I'm gonna fucking do it, right? I'm an agent of chaos. Sue me. I don't know what you want. I'm an anarchist. I'm a chaos demon. I don't know what the fuck you want.
Down for the dumpster fire.
I don't care what you... Yeah, I'm here for the beer and the dumpster fire. I don't know... If you can't understand that, that's fine. But I'm not Will.
Well, I'd say we all say dumb shit sometimes. Will says it more often than most, and we're probably doing it now. But yeah.
I mean, Will admitting to saying dumb shit is honest, probably.
I think, wait. Will is more openly hostile and aggressive and offensive. And I don't think that's, we're bantering here and, kind of being a bit facetious about certain topics, but I mean, I think we've addressed some of the more serious points. I mean, we're just using loose language.
Hold on, I'm reading back this comment. I just admitted he says dumb shit while saying you say dumb shit. Does that not follow? Honey, did you listen to a goddamn thing I fucking said? Like, I'm trying to be honest. You can come in here and talk. I'm pretty sure fucking Ape here just posted the StreamYard again. You can come here and talk. I'm not trying to be deceptive. I just don't understand what you're fucking trying to say about me. 'Cause I'm a separate person. I do my own thing. I'm an asshole. Other people are
I
also
think in a way,
assholes. That doesn't
what's being
mean
said here, if I may interpret it, is that by continuing to engage with Will, it makes us stupider. Which I don't really engage with Will much anyway, but I'm just lumping because I have engaged with Will, so I'm lumping myself in. But
well, you've barely engaged with Will, and now I'm back in the realm of like I'm a Will Kincaid mind slave because I talk to him occasionally, and I'm playing D&D with him. I guess that's. I don't look. I'm an asshole. Will's an asshole. That doesn't make us the same person. There are multiple assholes in the world, but they're all not connected to the same person, right? You want to talk about it? We can talk about it. And hey, maybe you'll prove your point, but I'm not understanding what you're saying in the text, because no, it doesn't follow. Me saying dumb shit and Will saying dumb shit does not make us the same person or on the same side. Like, Kent Hovind says dumb shit, and flat earthers say dumb shit, but Kent Hovind is very anti-flat earther, right? So if we can follow this track, right, where what I'm saying is, hey, I'm an asshole, Will's an asshole, Kent Hovind's a liar, piece of shit, says dumb shit, flat earthers are liar, piece of shit, dumb shit, but they're not the same thing, right? Maybe I'm not interpreting it correctly. That's fine. Just want to put that out there. Sorry if I've offended you. I don't give a shit. Have fun. End of rant.
God damn it.
So I'm looking for. Anyway, okay, yes, and so we can all be. Wait, what are the words we're looking for here? We're unaffiliated assholes, I guess. But wait, who are we talking about here, though? Because I mean, okay, the Will thing and the knock thing—that's a different thing, and kind of involved in that. But now
I'm on my own side.
I know you're on your own side. I'm not disputing that, but I'm just.
I know someone else might be, but I do what I want. I don't know what Kevin does. Kevin does what Kevin wants. It's a fucking ape thing. I don't fucking know. I'm not in charge of ape stuff. I don't know. I'm not in charge of Kincaid stuff. I'm only in charge of me stuff. Sorry for being in charge of me stuff. I don't know.
So Oz says fixing breakfast and jump in shortly. Right. So what position do you think you would be defending? I mean, if we were to talk about the now, like what your most recent, I know you got into it a bit with Stephanie, and that's been kind of an ongoing thing. A lot of people been getting into it with Stephanie. Yeah.
My last thing I've done was apologizing for saying heinous shit. That was the last stream I did. It was like a 2-3 minute stream where I apologized. It's probably a piss poor fucking apology, but I suck as a person. So sorry, it's a piss poor apology. I don't know. It's honest. That's about as good as I can give. I don't know what it. Look, I could be honest, or I could fucking lie and suck your cock and it not be honest. I personally would prefer the honest thing. I don't know if that's what anyone else would prefer, but I gave the honest, hey, I suck. I'm an asshole. I said shit I shouldn't have. I don't apologize for the slurs or what I said necessarily. It's just I was an unreasonable amount of asshole. So I wanted to fight. I fought. I went way the fuck too hard because I was in a mood. That was my last stream. It was me roughly saying that. I don't. Sorry if my apology wasn't good enough or something. I don't fucking know. I mean, I'm not worked up so much as it's just everyone and their mother has accused me of being Will Kincaid's mind slave. It's been happening for like 3.5 years, and it's fucking old at this point.
I think the point is that we're all
I'm a
in this
separate
stream,
person.
right? Like between you, Will, and I now will be accused of being shit disturbers along with other people. Like
Which
stirring
is
the pot
accurate.
where it should not have been stirred.
Yes, which is
causing this
accurate for me.
division.
I just don't want Will's shit put on me. I do it on my own. I am an asshole on my own. Thank you very much. Take your problems with Will to Will. Take your problems with me to me. We're separate individuals. I'm pretty sure you're not Will also.
Right. Well, Will used to have a nasty habit of, and I don't see you doing this often, of jumping into open rooms like that intentionally to try to sow division or, just say something offensive for the fuck of it. And then, go stream about it later. I don't see you doing that same shit,
Well, and hey, I did say some offensive shit on Nox stream. To be fair, I was kind of goaded into it, and I shouldn't have fucking bit the bait. That was my fault entirely. That was no one else's fault. I went for it, and I went fucking balls deep. No condom. That was my problem. I should have slowed my roll. I admitted to that. I did a stream about it. Like I said, a short couple-minute stream. I fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. And, hey, you can hate me for that, and that's fine. However, don't hate me for fucking Will Kincaid-related shit, is all I'm saying. Different people. And it's like, hey, I do heinous shit, but I do heinous shit on my own. I'm not Will. Shockingly, to most people, I mean, to be fair, the Geek Room thinks that Will and I live together for some reason. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about me.
I really don't know who the Geek Room is, so I probably know the participants, just not the room or whatever.
Yeah, they're fine, I guess. I like one of them. I mean, I just wish they wouldn't make random shit up about me. It'd be fucking cool. Like, at least if you're gonna say heinous shit about me, let's have it be real. There's
absolutely.
real heinous shit.
And I will say,
me.
for all present company, like I keep trying to push that, part of my goal is to resolve conflicts over here, especially when they're maybe unnecessary or mistaken conflicts or something, And I've tried to do that in the past, but I'm not, always very successful. But, I think, maybe we can make headway here. I mean, I know Oz is a reasonable dude, and obviously, I consider you a friend, Kat, and I don't know exactly again where the conflict lies, as far as between y'all. Other than the association with Will, but I hope we can distance ourselves from that. And
I think the problem people seem to have with me is I don't actually have a problem with pretty much anyone. There's, hey, a couple people in the Geek Room I have problems with. There's, I'm not a super huge fan of Maya, but, like, she's fine. I don't have any sort of hate for her. I mean, I might act like it just because I'm a piece of shit. But like, I
So
really
you,
don't have.
you spin things up a little bit more just to, be flagrant and
Yeah, I like the conflict. I look. Sometimes the world just gets too boring, and I need to cause chaos. And that might be a me problem. Fair enough. I say what you will about me, but I am on my own side at the end of the day. I don't know. I got no problem with Oz. I really, like I said, I have a minor problem with Maya. And I have a major problem with like two of the people on the Geek Room. But they're fucking pussies, so they can fucking fuck themselves or whatever. I don't
you mean
fucking
Maya
care.
Atkinson? Atkinson?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I think Maya's great, but I did see the Coon stream, and I was like, okay, but
I
it doesn't really bother me that much, honestly. So
I personally just it tickles my pickle that you have Maya and me. Like when you're running the ticker underneath the screen of people you're thanking, it just tickles me that you have Maya and me
I
right
think
next
you
to
could
each other,
say
and I
that
don't
about
know
pretty much
why.
everybody in my
But
ticker. Like most of the people in my ticker are enemies at this point on
it's a
some
very
level,
chaotic
so-
ticker. It's just like, hey, here's just people I like. Or people who have helped me, or I don't even know what the fuck it's for. But it's chaotic and I love it. I mean, I don't know. Look, hey, I have no problem if someone wants to say heinous shit to me. It's when they fucking go after my boyfriend is where I kind of get like, like, hey, you have a problem with me. Take it up with me. Don't take it up with my
Bugs is like
boyfriend.
so freaking chill in all the chats too. I don't see why anybody would ever attack Bugs.
Well, to be fair, I will give Maya this. Bugs quoted Knock the time he said, I'm 33% Native American. And which he even later said, yeah, that was a random number I pulled out of my ass right then. That's a joke I've made 24 times, I think. No one gave a shit, but fucking Bugs doing it. Bugs is like half native. I'm quarter native. I don't know, man. Like, if we're gonna do the whole thing, I mean, if we're gonna play the fucking, I don't understand. I don't understand what the rules of engagement are, I guess. Because there's the whole, I don't fucking know what you want to call it. Don't be offensive, play nice game. Then everyone who's playing that game fails miserably, like Knock or Maya. I'm a piece of shit and honest about being a piece of shit. But then people are mad at me for being a piece of shit, and it's real confusing. I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, if I come to you and say, "Hey, I am a fuck up. I've always been a fuck up. Just accept me for who I am," and then I fuck up, and you like throw your hands in the air, like, "What? What happened there?" And I told you I was probably gonna fuck up. Then who's to blame here? I don't know. I deal with this in my daily life, so streaming is like whatever.
Well, that's the thing. I've said repeatedly, like, hey, I'm trying to be better. I've actually made overall pretty good strides towards being a more decent, approachable, more genial human being. I fail miserably at every chance I give myself, but I'm working on it. It's like I say heinous shit, And it's like, hey, I need to remember to not say heinous shit to people who are like actually offended by it. I need to, I don't work like that. I need to understand other people do work like that, though. And I've been working on it, and I've apologized for it. Literally, there's like 2 or 3 streams on my channel where I'm just apologizing for being a piece of shit. And one of them was the last stream I did. Like, I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to be a more normal human being. I'm terrible at it. Sorry. It's like what Kevin said. I'm a fuck up. Don't get shocked when I fuck up. Sorry. I don't know.
One of the things I find I'm trying to do lately, like, because I don't like to apologize for things I've done, but I like to acknowledge things I've done and talk about like how I think about them later, like the hindsight of it, rather than focusing on, oh yeah, I did this thing, me bad, that type of shit. Being like, okay, how am I going to look at this a bit differently later, and just psychologize myself a little bit, And it's like, okay, that's one thing we can do, but also you can't take all of that shit to heart. Like, everything we're saying is recorded, and like, we don't want to see. It's like I can't account for everything I have said in the past and not be like, okay, yeah, that was bad. But it's like, okay, I acknowledge that I said or did this wrong thing in the past, and now I want to, work beyond that, and use it as a bit more of a platform to hopefully like display growth, But I mean, we still get to have fun. We don't have to, I don't feel like we should have to hold ourselves to that standard all of the time, like this impossible standard of being perfect humans or whatever.
Well, my whole apology wasn't because of shame or anyone else saying anything to me. If anything, I got praise from the fucking Will Kincaid crowd for doing it. Which is fine, they're allowed to have their opinion. And like I said, I got praised for that. And I was like, actually, I kind of fucked up. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have said that. That was a me bad. Like, I have the ability to reflect upon myself and be like, yeah, well, I'm kind of an ass. I just, like, it wasn't anything pressured by anyone. That was a me just putting that out there into the world. Because, I have Bree's contact information, but, like, I didn't want to fucking accidentally menace her. She's got enough going on. I gave her enough shit. More than enough shit. That was a me problem. Hey, I fucked up. I didn't want to fucking message her and accidentally piss her off more, so I just put it out in the world. Hey, anyone it affected, sorry. I don't know, man. Like, there was nothing pressured by anyone else. That was just something I felt that I should say, hey, I fucked up. Shouldn't have done that. Sorry for anyone it affected. My bad. I'm an ass. Working on it.
I know you did put that out there. I don't know. I want to welcome Oz, say hi, and thank you for coming. And hopefully we get something cordial going on here. I don't know how that's going.
Oh, you sound like you have 3 rats in between you and your microphone. Oh, sorry. Oz, try and talk.
Me.
I was about to say, I sound like I have 3 rats, or
No. That's the fucking sketchy marmoset over there. Sorry. Not you. No, you're good.
Well,
My
the point
mic
is
probably
for you
sounds
to
like
keep
ass.
Oz, As long as I said hello, then.
I did hear both of you say hello, so thank you and hello to both of you. And first and foremost, Kat, I want to say that the reason I jumped in, I was like, is this Will Kincaid's dumbass? Is your speech pattern and cadence is very eerily similar. So I want to say that first and foremost, so that's out in the open.
Oh yeah, no, that is. Will and I have picked up speech patterns from each other, which wound up with us speaking similarly. Yes, that is an unfortunate thing that's happened.
So I want to throw it out there. I want to put that out there first and foremost. Second of all, I've heard you say several times that whether it's I'm an asshole or I'm this or I'm that, and I'm trying to do better and be better. I appreciate. I want to appreciate that. But when it comes to someone actually wanting to do better, you simply do better. When people say these are hurtful things, these are damaging things, these are statements or comments or actions or what the fuck ever it is, these things are hurtful. If you actually care, if we, I won't even say you, if we actually fucking care, we eliminate those things. We eliminate those things, and we don't just continue to do them and then tack a I'm sorry onto it, because eventually, after repeated situations or repeated comments or actions, eventually that sorry becomes worthless, because it's okay, you've said sorry 6 times, 8 times, 10 times, whatever it's been, but we continue to see the same behaviors or hear the same language. And I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just taking this from what I've heard from you tonight. And I know you've had disagreements with Stephanie,
Everyone.
with Bree, with
Everyone,
sure,
every
with
human
everyone.
that's ever existed. Yes, correct.
Sure. So I'll for conversation's sake, I'll go with that. If you are truly trying to be better and do better, you eventually have to realize that just saying I'm sorry,
It does nothing.
like,
I'm aware.
But it does hit an end stop. It hits an end stop where it's like, okay, you keep saying I'm sorry, but there's no change in language. There's no change in behavior. There's no change in your interaction with
I'm not
others.
sorry for the language. I'm sorry for hurting people.
Okay, so let's take it there then. If you are truly, and I'm gonna take your word for it, if you are truly sorry for hurting people, what are you doing, or what have you done to correct that? Because what I've heard tonight is that you're sorry, but you still don't give a shit.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, I'm an absolute piece of shit. I do things and I just gotta do them, and I don't think about the consequences until after it's done. I'm working on learning about, hey man, other people have feelings too. I'm a piece of shit fucking gutter kid. I'm working on it. That's the best I can give you. I mean, I fuck up. You don't have to fucking... I don't care if anyone accepts the apology. I don't care if anyone forgives me. In fact, I actively encourage you to not forgive me. Seriously, I'm a piece of shit. Don't fucking
May I jump
give
in
me a
there?
goddamn time of day. I'm gonna fuck up repeatedly. And that's just how
may
it
I jump in
is.
there?
I'm sorry. I know I'm shit. I actively encourage people to not fucking deal with me, and yet some people still do because they're fucking dumb or something. I don't fucking know.
Well, and if I may jump in there, I find it interesting, and I mean this and I hope you hear my sincerity in this. I hear this from a very interesting perspective, because you're saying I am aware, and I want to be aware that people have been, are, or could be hurt by the things coming out of my mouth, or
Correct.
the things I say. And so that's the first step, right, that is the first step that any of us have to take or make. And then you reverse and double down on, I just come, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just maybe even steel manning this. I'm nothing. I come from nothing. I'm a piece of shit, and I say what the fuck I want to say. And if you take that serious, that's your fault. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's more like I said earlier. I say what comes. I have this problem where I have no filter, and I'm working on having a filter. I say things before I think of if anyone is going to actually be real hurt by it, versus, like, look, there are some people I can fucking say heinous shit to, and it's fine because they get it. And I just sometimes I vomit out words before I think, and then it's there. And that's a me problem and a no one else problem. I know that's a me problem. I'm working on it, and hey, you might not see it from what's been happening recently, but I have been doing significantly better for the most part. I really have been trying to not say heinous shit. I just had a moment, and that's unexcusable. And that's unexcusable. I did a thing. I just have I don't have a block, I guess, in my brain where other people do, and I sometimes say heinous shit, and that's my fault. I'm working on it, and I'm gonna fuck up with that.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. I'm gonna fuck up. That's
what Ozzy's saying here, though. I mean, so you're engaged in a lot of negative self-talk, and I find this with myself, where I'm criticizing others as much as I'm criticizing myself. And as long as you're kind of stuck in your head doing that kind of repetitive negative self-talk, you're going to keep doing the same thing to others. It's like your self-abuse perpetuates abusing others, even when you know the behavior is abusive, right? So I think we take a similar view on free speech, but at the same time, you're working on regulating your speech. And that's something that you should note your progress on.
well, I mean, yeah, my views on free speech. Say whatever. I don't give a fuck what anyone goddamn says about me or to me. I'll fucking argue with them. I don't fucking give a shit. And I know part of the problem is I work way differently than everyone else does. And that's kind of the problem I have, where I'm just, oh yeah, you want to fight? Let's fucking fight. I'll fucking fight. I'll fucking go fucking claws, fangs out. I don't fucking give a shit.
We get you. I think Ozzy has to respond, though. Did you have something, Ozzy?
Yeah, I do, and I am not here to
Oh no, say whatever you want. I don't. You're good.
And I realize that just a short time listening to you and speaking with you, I'm not here to psychoanalyze or anything like that. But I can I'll speak from my position that there is a long I had a long stint where I held a similar attitude where it's, I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a goddamn what anyone fucking says, what they think about me, how they view me, yada, yada, yada. Right? Really, what I was saying is I actually do care. I actually do care because I want people to know that I care. But I'm dealing with, which is the way he just said, I'm dealing with my own shit. I'm dealing with my own shit, and I can't afford to deal with other people's shit in the meantime. So I put up that wall where it's like, no, fuck everybody else, and fuck how they feel about me, what they think about me, because if I do buy into that, I internalize it, and then that starts a whole nother re-webbing, not a web, but a re-webbing of what's already taken place. So again, like I said, I'm not here to psychoanalyze, but I'm familiar with the language, and I'm familiar with the patterns, and there are systems and processes that are in place, you know, according to professionals, and this that we can all talk about, and it's healthy to talk about it. And I will end it in saying, if you are being genuine, and I'm taking you at your word, if you're being genuine, that you understand,
I am nothing if not direct.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm taking you at your word that you are realizing that some of the things that you are saying or doing, whatever it is, that they are hurtful, that you are coming to terms with that they are hurting people. The only thing I would dare I say challenge you to do is to drop that I don't give a fuck mentality, because
Nope.
that's the wall. That's the wall that actually that makes us incapable of actually connecting with the other people that we may be hurting. That I don't give a fuck wall.
I got trash to eat, man. I got cans to fucking scrape out of dumpsters. I don't have the luxury to care what other people think. I literally eat trash. I know that's a joke people say, but that's actually a thing I do. Like, I don't have the luxury to give a fuck what anyone else fucking thinks about me. I gotta fucking survive. So,
but and here's the thing: is I'm not. There's a clear separation here. I'm not asking you to not be honest with yourself and be real with you in the situation that you're in. I'm not asking you or anyone to ever fucking dodge or maneuver or pretend that that's not real. I'm not asking that. And I'm not asking anyone to understand or even pretend to know where you're at and what you have to do to survive. I'm not asking that. I'm not asking that of me or anyone else to understand your situation and your position. That's not at all what I would propose. What I'm asking is, even though you're going through it, you're in it, and you're doing all of these things to survive and to get along and to maintain, that you can still actually give a fuck. You can still actually give a fuck while maintaining that grind, that hustle, that I'm doing everything I can do every day to survive. You can do that and still drop that guard, because I'm not there presently right now, and I'll admit that. But I've been homeless, and I've been that dude that had shit to my name, and there was literally nothing to take from me. So if that's what you're telling me or explaining to me, like I get it, but there's still the ability to drop that part of the wall, if that makes sense.
I've been working on it. I'm not fucking
The
perfect.
only way
I
Nobody,
I
no,
understand. Well, hear me out. Like I understand. I fuck up, and I apologize for it. And I understand. Hey, no one's got to fucking take my apology. There's forgiveness for the people we hurt in this world is never guaranteed, right? I understand that. Painfully so, in fact. I'm trying to work on it, but that's just, I don't know. There's something in my brain or something. I don't fucking know. I'm working
I'm
on
putting it
it.
out there right now. I'm gonna put it
It's
out
just
there.
what it is. I try to not to, but sometimes I'm just in a fucking mood and I just say some goddamn heinous shit. And whether it's correct or not is irrelevant to the situation because it's harmful.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
want a world where everything's more helpful than harmful. And
yeah.
I've become the person I hate multiple times.
Can you hear
You
me
know,
now?
sucks.
No,
I'm working
you're
on
not
it.
in a position right now where you need to defend yourself, okay? Because you are in a position
Well,
to hear you. And especially me, I'm going to be the first right now to be like, Kat, behind the scenes is a much more fuck-giving person than they appear to be
hey, shut
on
the fuck up.
No, no, no. And so, you know, there's an element
I
to
have a
that.
reputation to maintain.
Fuck your trash fire. And no, I mean, so we're all digging into the humanity of this right here. Like, you know, we all have different situations, and it's like I can relate to Kat, I can relate to Oz, and I'm right here in the middle, and I say, you know, there is much more in common between these two people than there is separating them. And I mean, I think this string goes to show it. And but you know, but to what Oz said, like Kat, like you need to bridge that divide. We need to come, you and I both. We need to come out of the homeless brain, that mentality that society is out to eat us and fucking shit us out, and try to figure out a way to fix these problems. And it doesn't help to attack or alienate people who are within our communities, right? Like, and that's like as much as I want to defend your right to free speech and comedy, you know, ad absurdum, I also want to, you know, support the fact that we shouldn't be doing unnecessary harm to people
I agree.
within marginalized communities.
Well,
And I know
I
you've apologized.
apologized and I said it was
I know you have.
unnecessary harm. I don't. I'm not
But it's us
fucking
beating
defending myself
ourselves
for
up.
anything I said. I just want to put
But you
that out
also,
there.
anytime you're beating someone else up, you are also beating yourself up in the same way that other people have done to you before. You think
Well,
about that.
sometimes people need to be beat up a little bit. I don't know.
Well, and if I can, and I'll say this. I probably got like 5 or 6 minutes left, and I got to jump off. But what Ape was just saying is, I think it's what's the word I want to use? I think it's consistent. I think it's consistent with those of us that have been or are experiencing it's literally me against the goddamn motherfucking world. And I have to put my fists up and I have to fight for every goddamn motherfucking thing. Right?
Yep.
And that I get, and actually even me just saying that, even though I'm not in that place now, I was there for years. I was there for years, and I feel the passion, and I feel the conviction in that, because it's balls out, right? And you're going to do and
Balls out,
say
damn it.
and fucking defend yourself and say what you got to say, yada yada yada, all of that, right? Until you meet people that say, hey, we can connect with this, and we can relate with this, and we understand 100 where you're coming from. Now, let's sit at the table together, so to speak. We're doing it virtually, but let's sit at the table together, and let's reason together, so to speak. And even though that you still have to fight, and you still have to brawl, and you still have to do that for you to take care of yourself, that does not mean that there has to be either friendly fire, or unneeded casualties, or unneeded hurt, or unneeded pain.
I
Simply
said that,
because,
yes.
yeah,
I said that I fail at that, and I know that I've become the person I hate. I fully agree with you. It's not that I'm doing it because I want to. It's just some fucking visceral gut reaction sometimes that I have, and usually I don't have it. Look, I'm working
we're
on it.
saying we're trying to give you an affirmation. It's just something you can work to tell yourself.
Yeah, well,
We're
fuck
not telling
affirmations.
you.
Affirmations are a scam. The whole fucking the whole fucking system's a goddamn scam. You work all your goddamn life. You're punished for not being in debt because then
That's a
you can't get a
negative
fucking credit
affirmation.
card. It's a whole
Wrong
fucking
way.
scam. The whole goddamn fucking society's a fucking scam, and I'm just supposed to live in it. Even though I ain't got nothing to my goddamn name, I've been fucking poor and homeless for over 5 fucking years. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I've been living in
God damn it, Cat.
What?
Let me do that.
What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Before I dip, can I share one thing, Kat? And whether this means anything to you or not, totally up to you. But I want to share this. It is I was 100% for years in a very similar, if not the same, I don't know, but very similar position that you're in, and I held the view, and I held the belief that the whole fucking system, everything, and every fucking one walking this planet is against me. Right? I was there. I decided that I'm betting on me. I'm gambling on me. And I started scheduling, like going to all the local bars in town. And do you need a karaoke host? Do you need a trivia? And I still do this shit today. Just mind everybody why I'm saying this. And I start off with little things that I do. I'm a high school dropout. Like I have a sophomore education. Like I dropped out. I don't have shit. I don't have diplomas. I don't have degrees. And I started doing this shit and hustling. And now I've literally built my income at this point based on me building these gigs on whether it's karaoke or hosting trivia or DJing or doing these things.
You do realize I'm a trans person without an ID, yeah?
Okay, so
it's a bit harder when you're queer, trans, and have no identification.
Right.
Not defending
I mean,
and I can tell you.
Sure, it's probably super easy to fucking go out there and just get work. Like, I'm doing fucking manual labor jobs and whatever the fuck I can get my goddamn greasy fucking palms on to fucking do. It's just...
sorry, I want to cut you off.
The world don't want fucking people like me, and that's fucking fine. They want a goddamn sanitized version. They don't want the queers. They don't want the trans. It's fine. It's fucking whatever. I'm gonna fucking be out here like I ain't no fucking programmer. I ain't got no fucking marketable skills. I fucking speak Spanish and can punch people. That's about what I can do. I can dig holes pretty well. Like, I ain't got no fucking marketable skills. I'm just out here fucking living my life the best way I can, and I'm fucking excited when I got money for a fucking can of beer, okay? I've been homeless. It's been over 5 years at this point. I've been living in condemned houses or couch surfing or living in motels.
Yeah. Hold on. So, I know your story. I know Oz doesn't know all your story, but trying to break all this down, like right now, I think, Oz is supporting you as an arbiter of good here, as am I. But
it's a fucking bullshit advice because it ain't gonna fucking work for me. I mean, I appreciate the advice, but it ain't gonna fucking work.
See, when you take that approach, nothing's going to work for you because everything is going to be bullshit, and it's never like it's just a negative approach to everything, and you have to find some positivity. You have a community out here.
I don't.
Yes, you do. You don't have anybody out here.
The negativity is what's driving me, damn it. The negativity is the only thing that keeps me getting up in the fucking morning because I'm pissed off at the goddamn world. That's the only thing I got fucking going for me. When you want me to give that up and just fucking die? That's all I got, man.
No, focus on your positivity and the shit you're doing, like right now, like, hanging with your friends like me. Like, and Oz is trying to be a friend to you, Fuck you, Sterling. I see you in the chat. Motherfucker never comes into fucking streams.
Who is Sterling?
Sterling is amazing. Sterling is my new fucking messiah.
Well, and I'll say this, and I'll let up, loosen up, because I do become passionate about this as well, because I've been down and out. Now I will say I will never know. I will never know what it is to be a trans person in America. I'm not going to pretend to be that. Just like I will never pretend to be a black man in America because I'm a white man in America. So I will never pretend to know or understand those struggles and what that's like. So I don't want to invalidate that. I want to make sure that that's stated. But what I do want to say is I do, at the very least, I do understand the grind and the mentality to survive on a day-to-day basis. And I do agree with Ape is I am trying to be a friend, and I am trying to connect and communicate as best as I can, from my position, and from my perspective, whether that means anything to you or not, it's all good. It's all good. But I wanted to jump in here and at the very least, before I dip out, Kat, I want you to know that even though we may disagree on certain things, and yes, Will Kincaid is a dipshit, piece of shit, that's a whole nother conversation. A whole nother conversation. I'm with you, and I'm behind you as far as grinding and surviving, and I know what that's like. And when it comes to that, yes, you do have a friend, and I do. I hope and I wish the best for you. I'm not a Christian, so I don't pray, but I do hope and wish the best for you. And hopefully that means something.
It would have been real weird if you were a fucking Christian God praying for me. That would have been bad. I'm an atheist. I'm just a Jew. That's a joke.
Oh, I'm an atheist as well, so I'm not going to pray for you, but I will I do wish and hope the best for you, and I hope you do find something that connects and takes you to a different place, and you find a level of happiness and fulfillment that all of us deserve. I truly do hope that.
I appreciate that. Happiness and fulfillment are people who have time, are for people who have time to die. Unfortunately, I do not. So until that day comes, I guess you get this. Sorry, like I said, I actively discourage people from interacting with me and following my channel.
Well, and the more you say that, the more actually that I want to engage with you, because I remember.
Love me enough to leave. Damn it.
No, because I remember telling my family that. So, if anything, that anytime I see you, I'm going to engage with you just for the simple fact you told me to run. I'm going to engage.
Well, that's a choice you made, not a choice I made. So,
absolutely, it is 100% my choice.
Just putting that out there. It's not my fault if you get accused of fucking heinous shit because someone I talked to once did something heinous, and you talked to me, and therefore now you're literal Hitler too. That's how it works. I mean.
No, and like I said up top, the only reason I threw Will Kincaid out there is because the cadence, your voice, and the cadence and the patterns, I was like, this is Will Kincaid, and then as soon as you corrected, I was like, okay, I'm done. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
No, you're good. I have no ill will towards you. I really don't have ill will towards pretty much anyone. So I think I said that earlier. Look, I do heinous shit. People do heinous shit to me. It's fine. It's water under the bridge, right? We'll be down at the fucking railroad tracks, fucking drinking whiskey at the fucking fire pit we got down there, right? At the end of the day, it's just how it is for a lot of the people in this community. I forget that some people got fucking emotions and stuff. Fucking that's a place I don't know how to traverse.
You're good, and I hope to speak to you again. I'm a bow out because I got like 3 or 4 appointments to take care of today. So thanks for the conversation, y'all.
Hey,
thank you so much for coming by, Oz.
Hell yeah, appreciate
it. Shut up, Cat. This is my show.
Hey, yeah, fair enough.
Thanks, Dr. Bob. Thanks, Dr. Bob.
Thank you, Dr. Bob.
This is the perfect place to end the stream, I think. Yes, I think this is the perfect place to end this stream. And I want to say thank you so much to Oz and Kat for that amazing civil. That was a fucking conversation.
Well, it was honest. We both just said real shit. So yeah.
Look at the trees. You're real motherfuckers. Your mic is buzzing like super bad though. It has been for a while. I tried to tell you, but mine's probably not much better. Sterling,
sorry.
Fuck you, my new God Messiah. And okay, I got everybody in the chat. So, Kat, I hope you ponder upon this preponderance of ponderings that we've pondered upon here this fine eve or morn of May the 4th or Cinco de Mayo, whichever you prefer. Do you have a preference for May the 4th or Cinco de Mayo? Just off the top.
That was better food. Oh, what? No, did you not hear me? Sorry. Cinco de Mayo has better food. That is my position, and that's all I'm going to take. Star Trek is better than Star Wars. Shoot me.
True dat on the former, but on the latter, we're going to have to debate. I don't know about that one, but yeah, that's for another episode. Any shills? Are you shilling? You should shill. Are you doing anything?
No. If you find my channel, you've gone to the wrong place. Turn back.
Shut the
Leave.
fuck
Go
up.
literally anywhere else.
You stupid self-defeating queer, stop it. Are you gonna come do the Flurf show with me sometime in the near future?
Am I gonna what? What about a flurf?
We're gonna boink on some Flurf, yo.
I mean,
by?
I'll fuck with a flurf. I got all the time in the world right now, man.
This podcast, this episode was not for children. Dr. Bob recommends you take your kids to therapy after listening to this sort of. Oh yes, Trusty Ape is ending broadcast, and I'll be back with any luck. The Christian Carpenter. Well, good morning. You've come just in time for the end.
Boo, Stokers is good.
I'll be back Saturday. Yes, Saturday. That's the plan, and I'm sticking to it. Hey, Sammy, stop trying to insert your thought bubbles here. No.
Boo, Sammy, coming to the backstage.
All right. I'll get the fuck out of here. Okay. Good night. Good fucking luck. Be well, stay trusty, and try to resolve conflicts as best you can. Dr. Bob says. Good night. Wait for it. Now.